this is embedded systems. This will be the Lab 3 demo. And again, our guest presenter is our very own Mike McLean.
All right.
There.
Yeah,
I'll be the hands.
All right. Well, Lab 3 is simply a continuation of what you learned in Labs 1 and 2. So don't be surprised if you're asked to create an empty project and import all the functions and functionality that you did in Lab 2. However, on this lab, we're going to change things up a little bit. We're actually going to look into playing with some of the other peripheral that's on the board, in particular the accelerometer. So we've got a 3-axle accelerometer. And the goal of this is we're going to try to create a pseudo physics simulator. And the idea is we're going to render a virtual ball on an LCD screen that's going to roll around inside a cone. So, as you can see, as he tilts the board,
Let's see if there's any way to.
down. Yeah, there's got to be a way to zoom in.
Oh man, I gotta. No, it's. All right, now I'm going to hit autofocus off. You can't see that.
Now we're playing.
There we go.
Okay.
There you
All right, so you can see there's the ball. It's rolling around the screen, and as it tilts and gets towards the center, there's the center of the cone somewhere here, and this ball should get smaller and smaller as you sort of roll it over that way.
So it rolls downhill.
There you go. Got to get in the middle. Now you'll note this ball is sort of acting kind of sluggish, and what we're trying to do here is we're trying to do a physics simulation on this ball. So this is actually what would sort of happen if you took acceleration. So we're saying what the data you're collecting from the accelerometer is actually the acceleration this ball experiences, so it's relative to gravity, and we'll figure out how to calculate velocity and position. So simply some of the stuff you learned in physics, we'll be applying in this lab. So hopefully you not only do you learn a little bit more about your board, so how to use the peripheral, the accelerometer, but you'll also learn how, if you recall from Lab 2, anyone try to render a weird offset on the y-axis in Lab 2? You notice how it would skip pixels? There's a deal with this LCD screen where if you try to render a pixel at a particular offset, it skips down in byte increments. So it skips by 8 pixels on the y-axis. So in this lab, we sort of talk about that and how to get around that phenomenon. So not only are we interfacing the peripheral, we're also fixing this little flaw from Lab 2 and learning how to actually render a circle. So this is actually a dynamic font. So we're playing with fonts in this lab as well. So hopefully you learn a lot out of this lab. It'll be somewhat enjoyable. We'll warn you though that we'll be working with floating point numbers in this lab, and you've got to be careful where you define them, because if you put too many on as a local variable, you can end up with some weird things happening in your code, which if you have a debugger, you can see that they're happening, but it's another useful tip for learning how to use the debugger. So I recommend global variables for most of the floats for this lab, just as a,
Hint. Any questions? Should we make them identify where the accelerometer is?
Yeah, that'd be good. Where is the accelerometer?
Top left-hand corner, near the black pens. I think it's the bottom right.
You just told everybody. Right here where it says accelerometer?
Yeah.
Would that be? Oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh, look, there's a temperature sensor.
Oh, look, there's a temperature sensor. I was wondering where that is. All righty.
What else is there?
What else is there? I think we've gone over this in great detail before, but and that's one thing. When this board was created, they put on everybody's logo because they were supposed to get cheaper parts to make this board inexpensive. So right here is the Seeger debug device. Over here is the Ethernet, physical Ethernet chip, and there should be a somewhere over here a USB chip, which is probably the biggest one right here. This is down here. Remember I talked about the CAN bus being able to talk on a electronics or in an automobile? That's the transceiver. Transceiver means what? Transmit, receive. And let's see, some more little doodads. Analog potentiometer would be microphone. Look at that. And audio out, audio amp, obviously. I know because it says it right there. This is the RS-232 communications chip. This is actually a memory chip, PCM serial flash. This is a connector for hooking up another type of a debugger that will let you look at the communications lines. This is the micro SD card actually communicates with another serial interface. I think it's I2C, but I'm not positive. Is it PCI? I'll have to look at it. And here's when they designed the board. They didn't know if this graphics LCD would work, so they actually put in here the capability to put a character LCD module. But they were lucky they got it to work, so there you go. All right. Any other questions? That's it for Lab 3 demo. Thank you very much.